I looked at the biggest sort of cost items when you're just starting up and sort of putting your team together and really getting going. So just in terms of infrastructure and fixed costs, I mean, there are amazing things. Well, the costs have come down, and there are amazing things you can do. Just hosting. So you don't have to really go out there and buy a lot of servers and hosting capacity. Amazon Web Services and what they're doing sort of with EC2 is helping a lot of startups to really just get that first sort of sets of users and your beta sites launched and start to see some user traction. Also Google App Engine, which is if you're building something in Python, that's a great option. And just generally cloud computing. Also, I wanted to mention in there, Microsoft just announced BizSpark, and I was at their launch today. It's pretty fantastic program in terms of what they're offering for companies for 3 years. If you're a very early stage company, private, under 3 years of operations, you get access to a lot of their servers, software, etc. for free actually. So wanted to mention that also. So going into sort of you've thought about hosting and figured out a way to do that cheaply, then going into sort of software design technology, there are a lot of resources out there from the biggest corporates like Sun, Microsoft, to smaller startups like 99 Designs and Assembla and so forth that'll help you test what you're putting out there in your product, and 99 Designs, which actually helps you design your product as well, and a lot of things that are going on in the Creative Commons that you can take advantage of. So there's hosting, software. I say my last point there is go virtual as long as possible and avoid sort of office rent, furniture, phone expenses. So office space, Sun's sponsoring a lot of desks. There's the Silicon Roundabout with Moo and Huddle out in London, and the best is work where you live. So that can get pretty tough to separate work and life, but that's the cheapest way to do it. And then in marketing, people talk a lot about advertising, and the best way to actually make the most out of that opportunity is learn search engine optimization yourself, and take advantage of advertising models out there if you can. So befriend the bloggers. One of our companies, Zamanta, last year is a tool for bloggers, and they went out there and sort of made best friends with 150 of the top bloggers out there. So befriend the bloggers and become your own expert, and that's a great way to get to do your own marketing, is become an expert. Again, one of our companies, MobClicks, has done that in sort of the mobile application space. So there's a lot of ways to cut costs on the big sort of fixed and infrastructure costs. On teams, everyone asks me sort of how much does it cost to hire a developer. In San Francisco, it's about $100,000 to hire a good developer. Here, I hear numbers of about 70,000, 80,000 pounds. That's a lot of money when you don't have any money when you're starting up. So, really look to build your team. In the UK too, I find a lot of individual founders, and the tech guys are in search of the business, and business guys are in search of tech. Start to really, especially while you're in school, get that core team together. We really look to only fund sort of teams that do have that 2 or 3 developers and a business savvy person on their teams. Initial hires should be for equity and just enough to cover ramen noodles and a roof over your head. So you can start up pretty cheaply on that, live with your parents, whatever it is. So you shouldn't really be paying a lot of money to your core set of hires in the early days. And then a good way to save costs on sort of the biz dev and advisors is also offer a little bit of equity to advisors that are coming on, and make sure the advisors that you bring on are actually contributing something and delivering something to you. So make sure they have their own sort of targets that they're delivering to you, and that's a great way to do strategy, biz dev, marketing, etc. And product. I think internet's been a phenomenal medium in which people put out a product and actually use their customers and users to build and iterate that product. So, use that to your benefit, especially if people aren't paying you for your product, then definitely at least they can help you iterate on it. So that's, another kind of big cost item when you're starting up. And in terms of fundraising, there's a lot of, again, you don't need to, there's misconceptions around how much you need to give away, and people think you're selling your soul to the vulture capital devil and whatnot. But there's cheap ways to start up. At Seedcamp, we give 30 to 50,000 euros for 5 to 10% equity. So we don't try to control the companies. There's angels, there's a lot of grants. Nesta is a great organization, UKTI, a lot of good resources in, and certainly, in Cambridge as well, you have Cambridge Enterprises. So a lot of really good resources for you to start cheaply. And get